Okay, so hey guys, welcome back to another weekly fight roundup, and in today's video, got just the boxing news this week, and no real big major MMA kind of news for me to speak about this week, but we've got a bunch of boxing news, so if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so, like the video if you do need to like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, gonna start off with Cope Ashfaq versus Dylan, Watson versus Vad Benito, and Ignatius versus Robinson will fight on the 24th of June. That is on the Kelly undercard, and it's nice to see Robinson back in action, as well as Cope getting his first time kind of on a big major card. And of course we spoke to both of them. Hopefully we'll be having Robinson back on soon, just to kind of see how things have changed. And moving on now to Prograis will fight Zorrilla on the 17th of June. I don't really like this fight in general, to be honest. I was really excited for the Paro fight, and of course, you can't really do too much about the injury, but Barboza Jr., I would have loved that fight as well. That would have been something that I would have also stayed up and watched and been interested for. But, of course, I think Barboza, people have been saying he's ducking that. Don't know if he is. He might be. He might just be asking for loads of money. Not really too sure what's going on with him at the moment, but Zorrilla stepped in. He's not a bad opponent, but I just think this is just going to be too easy. And I think the way that they've been advertising Prograis recently with Matchroom, I think that they probably could have still got a better option than Zorrilla, to be honest. I know it's short notice, but still. Moving on, Thorsland will fight Luna early September. Haven't got a set in stone date that I could find yet, but early September time. Fury is in talks with McKean, Optaya, and Joshua. Joshua, again, it's never going to happen realistically, is it? At this point, was apparently a contract given for September time, I think. Seems like Fury's just trying to mess around with the Saudi tournament. I don't know why he has to be doing that. McKean probably is the one which I'm thinking is most likely to happen. Optaya, I don't think it's going to happen. So McKean, in my opinion, is probably the most likely. Rivera versus Robles, Co versus Bisler, Valdez versus Fernandez, and Medeiros versus Vincente will fight on the 24th of June. Good to see Rivera back out on another Matchroom card, as of course he spoke to him, and it was a good performance last time out. Spence Jr. will fight Crawford on the 29th of July. This is the, in my opinion, major bit of news this week, and that is just amazing news. And it's about time, about goddamn time. And hopefully, I'm not going to get overly excited now, because of course things could happen. There could be an injury, there could be a pullout for any other reason, and it might not be actually end up happening, but on paper it's official, and this is the furthest we've gotten so far, and I cannot wait, and I really want this fight to go ahead. And I mean, I think the whole boxing community does, to be honest, and it just has to, and it really realistically shouldn't have taken this long, but that's boxing for you. But good to hear that this is the week that has been announced. Also this week, I don't know if this is set in stone, but it seems like Navarrete will fight Valdez on the 12th of August. That is another big fight as well. Valdez coming off his win on the Haney undercard, and Navarrete coming back from kind of losing against Liam Wilson, and this is a fight which has also been kind of in talks to happen for quite a while now. I don't think it's major for the division, but I think entertainment wise it's definitely going to be a good fun fight, and glad to hear it's happening as well. It's been a good week for boxing this week. Bell Chambers won via KO in round 3 versus Mooney. Gersbeck won via unanimous decision versus Moore. Sete won via TKO in round 4 versus Somerville. And Kia won via TKO in round 4 versus Masters. Zhu won via TKO in round 1 versus Bomber. Horn won via unanimous decision versus Taylor. Reeves won via TKO in round 2 versus Mitchell. Parker won via TKO in round 1 versus Opelu to become a Commonwealth heavyweight champion. This was an interesting one. The stoppage was weird. He knocked him down, fair enough, but then it seems like the ref was just kind of stopping him from coming up, and even when Opelu did get up and it looked like he was completely fine, they were just like, no, that's the end of it. But it's just weird. But of course Parker got the win. for him, a round one stoppage is just going to do him the world of good for confidence. It'll be interesting to see where he does go from here, and yeah, who he's going to be going with. If it is going to be boxer, then fair enough. But of course, I don't know how much they're willing to put more faith in him after what's been happening recently. But this is always going to, if you look at it from like a box rate perspective or anything, it's always going to be a good thing to have. Eubank Jr. versus Smith has been postponed. Smith will fight Crichton on the 1st of July. Kelly has signed a new deal with Westerman. Beterbiev will fight Smith on the 19th of August. Another good fight announced, and like I said, linking to the fact it's been a good week for boxing. Beterbiev versus Smith. Smith, of course, coming off the injury, was meant to fight Stepien, but of course it didn't happen, and this is a massive fight for him, and I respect him for taking it off the injury, and it's going to be an amazing matchup, hopefully, and it's good to see both Matchroom and Top Rank working to make these fights happen, and Beterbiev, I love every single one of his fights at the moment, and in general, and so I'm sure it's going to be another brilliant fight. And of course, you can't underestimate Smith as well. I mean, we've seen what the fellow Brit in Anthony Yard managed to do to Beterbiev in putting up a great fight, and so Smith is another amazing challenger in his own right, and I think it basically means that we're going to see Canelo Bivol next, because otherwise Beterbiev probably would have ended up happening. But moving on, Huni versus Tabiti, Yasu versus Calderon, Ali versus Guzman, Bazudua versus Fruto, and Aponte versus Madrid Senior will fight on the 17th of June. Ingram won by unanimous decision versus Angel Cor. De Jesus drew versus Likea. Louise won by TK in round 1 versus Ramirez. Henry won by unanimous decision versus Pemberton. Jones won by split decision versus Monreal. Medina won by unanimous decision versus Napoles. Silva won by unanimous decision versus Kipenga. Hayler Brown won by unanimous decision versus Smith. Shields will fight Cornejo on the 3rd of June. Pacheco has signed a new deal with Matchroom. Hernandez has joined Matchroom. Pacheco versus Calacos and Hernandez versus Tuar will fight on the 7th of July. That's just going to touch upon the fact of how good Matchroom's been recently. They've been amazing and putting on events pretty much every week. This weekend is the first kind of break they've had in a while, and it seems like I think they're going on a 6-week run afterwards, and after this week off, so they're just doing a madness at the moment, and you got to respect it. And I mean, even though these cards maybe at times aren't like, not sound horrible, like this card that has just been announced with I forgot who it was now, with Pacheco, isn't a massive fight realistically, but just the fact that having events all over the world at any times, big or smaller, not going to say smaller, they're just amazing, to be honest, so you got to give them all the props. Moving on, Thompson won via points versus Istrate. Freeman won via points versus Granham. Walker won via points versus Velasco. Quinn won via points versus Angulo. Hayden won via unanimous decision won via points versus Ellison. Quinn won via points versus Hino Stroza. O'Leary won via TK in round 1 versus Kyo Cherry to remain WBC International Super Lightweight Champion. McCrory won via points versus Ramirez. Kakaske won via unanimous decision versus Brzezinski to remain IBO World Super Featherweight Champion. Did get that one, kind of expected, to be honest. And Bull won via TK in round 12 versus Lamati to remain WBC Silver Featherweight Champion. Another great performance from Bull, and I'm sure it's not going to be too long till he's having these big fights. And I hope Lamati is all good as well. It seems like he is good, but I hope everything's going to go all right with him. I heard some things about him going to hospital and stuff afterwards, so you got to give kind of respect and hope he's all right. And moving on, Lopez won via TK in round 5 versus Condon to remain IBF World Featherweight Champion. I got that wrong, to be honest. It's, in my opinion, I didn't really expect it to go like this. I thought there was always that opportunity for it to go like this, but Lopez fought well. He fought very well. I got to give him props. Conlon fought well as well, but I think Lopez's unorthodox kind of style, I knew that would be the case, but he put the combinations better than I thought he would, and I think he was a bit more attacking than I thought he would be at times, and so I think that shot was a very good shot. I think if he didn't land that big shot, which I think was inevitable, to be honest, then eventually Condon probably would have won if it went to points, but either way, Lopez, fair play to him keeping his belt, and for the moment it seems like, and I want Lopez versus Ramirez to happen. I think that has to happen now, and hopefully it will. Moving on, Crawler won via points versus Hardy. Good to see Crawler win on his debut. Congratulations to him. Bowen won via points versus Venko. Hatton won via TK in round 5 versus Bulik. Fiaz won via points versus Eon. Good to see Fiaz winning as well. Coming from facing adversity to win is always makes the win sweeter. Ball won via stoppage in round 8 versus Robinson to become English welterweight champion. Harper won via unanimous decision versus Habazin to remain WBA World Super Welterweight champion. Did get that one right. Kind of expected, to be honest. Was a good solid matchup. Catterall won via the unanimous decision versus Foley to become WBA Intercontinental Super Lightweight champion. That was a great fight, and Catterall really showed his class as boxing, and his jab was amazing. I really enjoyed that. Wood won by unanimous decision versus Lara to become WBA World Featherweight Champion. That was also another great performance. Wood, an amazing game plan, a fair play to his team, and he just executed it amazingly. Lara, he didn't look amazing. I don't want to take anything away from Wood, but he didn't look like he was on his game, to be honest, and his movement just wasn't what it was, and he wasn't using it at all. But fair play to Wood, he was using his movement a lot, and that's what I said in my prediction that he should do, and he did. Obviously, I got my prediction wrong, but Lara, I just didn't think he was going in with as much aggression and doing as much as what he did in the first fight, and I don't know, to be honest. Maybe he was just trying to force just one shot and there wasn't really many openings or whatever, but fair play to Wood. He boxed perfectly, and he had to do that, and he did, and it looks like it'll probably be Warrington next at the City Ground, but I mean it's a good fight, but it's not like, not to sound horrible, it's gonna sell a lot, but I just don't think, realistic wise, if Wood's going to only have a few more fights left, I think he should go for these bigger fights. If Lopez fights is an option, I know he's probably going to fight Ramirez, but if it is an option, he should go for that, because that's another big fight, and if he wants to get more belts and become undisputed, then that's where he should go. But I think Warrington, the way that he's been fighting recently, it's a bit of a step back, but of course it's going to sell loads, going to be at the City Ground, so I'm sure that's probably what's going to happen. I still don't hate that fight either way. Moving on, Rueg won via points versus Dodge. Edmondson won via stoppage versus Nosik. Gadiri won via points versus De Oliveira. Welch won via points versus Buchetta. McKinson won via TK in round 7 versus Marias. Artenstall won via points versus Taylor. Cutler won via points versus Stannard. Eggington won via TK in round 5 versus Pigford. Bellum Smith won via majority decision versus Ercole to become WBO World Cruiserweight Champion. Fair play to Bellum Smith. Was a good performance from him. It was a bit of a scrappy fight at times between them both, but you kind of always thought that would be the case. Ercole, I really don't like his style of just grabbing on and hoping to maybe land a couple pot shots afterwards. It's just not amazing, and I feel like maybe it's his team or whatever, but I don't know. It's just his style. I don't like it, and I feel like he can box a lot better. He just doesn't, and he just resorts to these old ways. I think at times he was having success, but then he just resorted to his own ways whenever he faced adversity. But fair play to Bellum Smith. I really am happy that he managed to get that victory, and you could tell how much that meant to him, and so it's going to be interesting where he goes next. Hopefully it's Reactport. That's what I want to see. Moving on now, though. Canas won by unanimous decision versus Alvarado. Sanchez won by KO in round 5 versus Avelino Reyes. Priest won by unanimous decision versus Villalba. Jurado won by stoppage in round 7 versus Kayes. Ramirez won by split decision versus Diaz. Rocha won by KO in round 5 versus Young to remain WBO NABO Worldweight Champion. I got that one right, kind of expected, to be honest, but a good step up for Young. Calazzo won by stoppage in round 7 versus Jerusalem to become WBO World Minimum Weight Champion, and got that one wrong, but Calazzo really showing that he's about it, and fair play to him. He proved me wrong, and showing that he is going to be a difficult guy to beat in this division, and probably is arguably the best in the division. There's going to be some tough tests, I'm sure of that, and hopefully these big matchups will keep on coming, and it seems like they are in the kind of lower divisions at the moment. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you did, like this, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.